of Arduino all over the world. There are 499 events all over the world in 78 countries. Could we find another event to do 500 and 400? Manca sempre uno per far 31, we say in Italian. So the idea is today we're going to be presenting a lot of interesting things. The streaming is starting now. We have a number of interesting talks, starting with Davide Gomba talking about Casa Jasmina, and around 5:20 in the afternoon, European time, me and Federico Musto, if you want to join me. We'll give you, say hello to...
Good morning and welcome to everybody. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here today. So thanks to invite me to this great event, and we'll see you soon, right?
Yes, at 5:20, me and Federico will talk about a little bit, Arduino and some of the things we are working on. So we don't want to take too much time to the first speaker. So Davide, if you want to come over, we'll leave the stage to you and talk about Casa Jasmina. Nice jacket.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. I have to say it's an honor to open up the speeches. I'm eager to talk here about the project we've been sharing with Arduino so far, called Casa Jasmina. It's an IoT apartment here in Turin, hosted by Toolbox Coworking. There is this interesting infographic about IoT, as done by our friends at Libellium, and it's amazing how all the IoT landscape is like layering up, and you have all sorts of different IoT applications. This image itself ends up with the buildings. What's inside our buildings? It's the home, which is a very interesting scenario, place to have IoT devices connected. Apparently, we're going to own a lot of IoT devices in our homes soon. And since it's Arduino Day and most of the people listening to this speech and involved in the more than 400 events all around the world are building their home devices, I have to say that there is a huge market of self-constructed and DIY IoT devices. You have big actors stepping in, and you have all sorts of startups and tools to build your very own device. One of the problems we have been witnessing in these IoT companies, IoT app, IoT products, is that most of these apps let you control one device at a time. So I was having lunch with a very close friend of mine a few days ago, and he was showing me 8 different apps which were enabling him to control the heating system of his home, the surveillance system, several lights. The point is that we haven't found yet a place to store all of this, which is one of the main topics we have been issuing in Casa Jasmina. Another not very comfortable thing happened in these last 2 years is that some of these devices, they are not products, they are rather services, and when they are bought, these services, they may be turned off, and that's what happened, apparently what is happening with Pebble that has been bought by Fitbit, or the Revolve Home Smart Hub, which have been bought by Nest, and the service was shut down. So this is some interesting opportunities for people building these devices and showing and trying to have a better experience around them. Another interesting trend we have been witnessing is this ongoing bot trend, and apparently a lot of apps are shifting to become conversational bots. Here are 11 reasons. The most appealing to me are the reason for which the bots are going to become the new apps is that bots are behaving towards us as humans because we have a conversation with them. So we work really hard at Casa Jasmina to build experiences around conversations. This is the place. If you're in Turin, you are able to visit here today. If you are listening or watching us from internet, you can come and visit and rent the apartment on Airbnb and test all the different things we set up. We also have a little video showing how we built interactions in the house. So, as you can see, the interaction with the house is driven by a web app, which is self-hosted in the house, as well as a bot you can access to via Facebook Messenger, Telegram, and several other apps. If I'm able to go to the next slide. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the creator of the project is Bruce Sterling. He's this science fiction writer based here in Turin, which is addressing and promoting all these new approaches towards the home environment. And yeah, the Casa Jasmina project is dealing with new networked devices. So we receive or buy new things, IoT things, and we manage to test them and tune them inside of the house, as well as building our very own devices, as well as shifting and moving Casa Jasmina in other scenarios. For example, we are about to release a new consultancy we made with a house with people with special needs that were in need of special furnitures, and so all the health and care DIY market, we try to make and work in that direction. Another interesting news is that since Casa Jasmina was meant to be a 2-year pilot project that was helped by Arduino, now since the 2 years are passed, we are like moving to our very own domain. The relationship with Arduino is still there, and we are really keen to test and enjoy the Arduino community and the Arduino experience, but we'd rather have a more hardware agnostic approach towards open hardware products. We're going to be next week at Salone del Mobile, so we're going to be at Base. Please come and meet us. We're also sharing free workshops there. Very quick technical things. These are the first examples and attempts Tommaso La Terza did to interact, as you can see in the video, with the house throughout a bot. We also managed to and chose to embrace in these last 6 months a very interesting community, which is the Home Assistant one, which is a self-hostable home domotics tool that lets you control several things in the house. At this very moment, Tommaso is giving a presentation and an advanced Arduino workshop addressing this tool. This is kind of our technological framework right now. We have MQTT for DIY products and Z-Wave for industrial, or so to say, more official products you can buy in stores. And all of these devices are talking to Home Assistant, which has several services that are very easy to hook up to these products. Then we are using UBot, a bot framework released by GitHub to manage all sorts of different interaction. The cool things about UBot is that, again, as Home Assistant is a self-hostable service, so you just need to write or use the tons of adapters they built to have an interaction with products like Facebook Messenger or WeChat or Telegram or even Halo. The point is that the user itself doesn't need to download a specific app, but rather look for Casa Jasmina or their home on the Telegram platform or the Facebook Messenger platform. So come and meet us on casajasmina.to on Facebook or casajasmina on Twitter, and you can even interact with our bots and make Tommaso mad because he's trying to finish the, the interaction for next week at Salone del Mobile. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Otherwise, I can shift to the next speaker of today. Yeah, okay. Go on.
Can I ask about this home with special needs that you are putting together, and how is IoT helping these people?
Okay, yeah, actually we made a video and we're going to release it soon, but the point is that at some point, an health and care association, a cooperativa in Lombardy, asked us to let several people having psychological issues to live by themselves in a house, and we made a research project with some friends of us, the UX Pills, and we mapped their needs. And then, as in cloth, we took what we have been doing in Casa Jasmina, and we sewed it after their needs. So, for example, they need to be monitored, how many times they open the fridge or where the food is held because they have some eating problems. They were to be informed when they entered. But the cool and interesting part is that is not, this data is also accessible by themselves, by these girls. So in the end, these girls were able to live by themselves, but having the people, the caregivers, working with them, using these tools, these IoT tools, these IoT data as a therapeutical information. Okay, yeah. Okay, bye. Have a good Arduino day.
Hi everybody, thanks again for being here today at Arduino Day. My name is Alice, and I've been working at Arduino for about 3.5 years, and I'm going to talk to you about a product that we are currently developing called Arduino Create, and how we involved our amazing community to the development of this product. So as I think all of you know, Arduino is made of 3 main ingredients. It's hardware, the boards, it's software, the IDE you use to write code and upload it to your boards, but the third ingredient, which is the community, is the one that makes it extremely special and is the one that I'm going to talk about today. So the Arduino community is extremely large, and a lot of time when someone wants to start tinkering with coding on electronics, he may decide to work with Arduino because he knows that he can tap into a huge amount of user-generated content and leverage all of that. And if he has some issues, can refer to someone on the forums or on the online communities and get feedback if they get stuck in with some problems. So dealing with this huge community and very various community has been extremely interesting for me, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So I've been working for the past 2 years on Arduino Create, which is an online platform that allows us to write code and access tutorials. It's designed for makers, and it's designed so that you can do your whole journey when making something from inspiration to implementation without leaving this platform. Has everyone ever heard of it or used it? Yeah, apart from my colleagues that work on it. So if you go to create.arduino.cc, you'll be presented with a variety of apps you can interact with. And of course, it's built in a way that you know, we will be able to start building upon this platform and add apps according to what our needs are. So we have like the online ID, which is similar to what you currently use on your desktop. Then we have getting started flows to help you set up services or products. And then we have like a link to forum, to the store, and Arduino Cloud. I'm just gonna start showing how it is all about by starting with Project Hub. Project Hub is a repository, like a container of a lot of tutorials you can start from. And we actually moderate all these tutorials that are submitted by the community, and we tag them according to difficulty and type of project. So for instance, you want to start building a sensor tower to check all the sensors in your home. As we heard before, IoT is going to be really big soon. So you just want to check the temperature, humidity, and so forth. So in here you find this tutorial where you have all the components you're going to need and the story that tells you what to do step by step. And then of course all the schematics on how to build this sensor tower and the code. So let's check out the code. So we want to see if this code works well for what we need. So we can preview it on a separate page, and this is a code viewer. And in this page, we'll have everything needed to build our project. So some documentation, the layout, and then links to the board that I need to use. I like it. I'm just going to add it to my online IDE. So just by clicking a button, I can basically copy this code within my environment, and now it's ready to go for me to tinker with, modify, change. So the online IDE is hosted in the browser, and all that you need to install is a plugin that is going to continuously check your local ports on your PC and make sure that the browser and the ports are talking. So in this way, you will be able to upload code from the browser to your local board and use the serial monitor and so forth. So we were talking about this code previewer. So this is what we envision for the future of the Arduino Sketch. We really would like it to be like the unit that you can easily share with someone, like your students if you're in school, or your colleague if you're at work, or your friend if you're building like some interesting DIY project. And it will have everything that is needed to really start off from here and start building. So you'll have like tabs with the schematics, and then you'll have a link to add it to your online ID, as we saw, and also a link to the tutorial if you wrote a tutorial. So how did we get there? So why did we design this way? We really kept the feedback from our user really close into our designing process, and we have two main ways of engaging with them. One is in person. So we started by doing a lot of paper prototyping and co-creation session when we were sitting with people, interviewing them and hearing what they would expect from an online tool designed by Arduino. And then, as you saw, like our office is extremely close to the Fab Lab, so we can tap into this community really easily and just have informal or formal conversation with the Fab Lab users. But the thing that I like the most is to talk to people in events like this one, like Arduino Day or Maker Fairs, because that's where we can really talk to a huge variety of people, kids, grandmas, super pros, and have like a very wide range of feedback. The other way, of course, is the online engagement. And the thing that we are using the most within the development of Arduino Create is the forum. And as you see, like the first and most viewed thread is wish list and ideas. People really care of telling us what we should be doing next, and if they have some ideas, they want us to hear it. Other ways, of course, is GitHub, where people can open issues if they find problems with the platform, and customer support, the socials, the blog. So how do we keep these people engaged? So has anyone of you ever opened a bug or submitted code to like some open source project? Apart from my colleagues that I know they have. Well, if you do so and you contribute some, then you feel a great sense of ownership over what you've been contributing to. And for instance, if you submit an idea and this idea gets realized, it really makes you feel like you've been heard and what you said was helpful. We noticed that since we are working on a new product, which is the web editor, we were a little bit more free to bring in some new features and innovations compared to the desktop ID, where people are really, you know, they care a lot what's going on and they've been using it for so many years, and so they have a sense of want things to be in a certain way. While with the web ID, they were not so, they were more open, so we were able to introduce some features that then were found interesting and then they can be enrolled back into the desktop ID. The other way is giving social recognition. If you submit a project, for instance, to Project Hub, and it's really cool and useful, then it's going to be featured and showed on the homepage and then featured on our social networks as well. The other thing is control and visibility. One thing that a lot of users ask us is, what is your roadmap? What are you going to design next? And as well here, it's a delicate balance between like what you can share and maybe promise, and then what is your internal roadmap and things that come up. So sometimes it's really helpful to give a sense of visibility on your internal process, but sometimes can be a little bit like over-promising, because we wanted really bad to do a feature, but then something else comes up in the meantime, and we can't deliver when we wanted. So again, and another way to engage people is to get like the Arduino experts on board. When we come out with new boards, sometimes we do a developer edition where people can purchase a board before everybody else and be part of the beta testing. And being part of a community where, for instance, the founders are actively answering to someone that has just bought a developer edition board, so something that is not fully fleshed, is really interesting, and we found out is really helpful both for the community and for us to really be on track on what is really needed and wanted. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of open questions. So we talked about how amazing it is to be part of an open source community and have consensus as a way to express desires on where a product should go. But how can we make it so great that we keep innovating in a fast pace, but still keeping the consensus and the feedback of the community balanced out? And the other question is, we are collecting so much feedback from all of our community, but Google tells us from analytics that we are collecting feedback from 90% men and just 10% women. So we are listening to a very skewed feedback. And since the team that is working on Arduino Create is 50% women, we really would love to hear feedback from a more diverse audience, because this will really make the product better. Thank you. Any question? Can Arduino Create be used in a classroom? So that's a great question, and we've been hearing a lot about this throughout the forum as well, because you know, having the software online and not having to make sure that every student gets the same environment, like the same libraries available, and having this way of sharing a sketch really easily, it makes it a really good tool to use in the classroom. And we have, we're going to be starting doing some really focused research on that. But Valentina later on is going to be talking about how Arduino has been used in the educational field, so you will learn more about that later.
I work at school, and I confirm that it's very annoying for the person to install on every PC the Arduino ID.
Exactly, exactly. So this way you'll just have to install a little plugin and just go to a website. So that yeah, it's included in the installer of the plugin for Windows, where it's needed. Yeah. And we're going to talk more later on. Massimo is going to talk more maybe about Chromebooks and how we have alternatives for that as well. Okay, so I'll leave the microphone to Arturo, that is going to talk about Uno Wi-Fi.
Thank you. So, my name is Arturo. I've been working for Arduino for 3 years now, just more than 3 years. It is a brief introductory talk to Arduino Uno Wi-Fi. So, let's see it. As the very name says, no big surprises here. It's just the Arduino Uno basic board, a very well-known board, which with the embedded Wi-Fi, with Wi-Fi embedded on it. So, the target is always the beginner users, as the Uno always was, but with a complementary Wi-Fi chipset as element, it has become a new board for advanced user and project as well. So these are the features at a glance. Just take a look at the three main types: general, Arduino microprocessor, and Arduino microcontroller. In general, we can spot just the typical elements, just like power consumption, digital I/O, PWM, analog pins, and so on. Then the Wi-Fi chipset, which is built around the ESP8266. Maybe some of you know it very well, which is a very common chipset used when dealing with Arduino project and Wi-Fi. And the Arduino microcontroller itself, which is the usual one, the ATmega328, which is the core of the Arduino Uno. So we can distinguish, again, 14 digital input outputs, 6 out of them can be used as PWM outputs, 6 analog inputs, 16 MHz ceramic resonator, and the usual connection you will find on Arduino Uno, such as USB connection, power jack, ISP header, and of course a reset button for the MCU. So that's basically how the magic happens. 4 main goals: programming via over-the-air or via serial, and I mean just not only Arduino Sketch, but also upgrading the firmware of the Wi-Fi chipset. So main goal, Wi-Fi application, of course, with the Arduino Wi-Fi dev library, and a quick setup with the new Arduino Wi-Fi web panel, which is built around the default one of the ESP8266, and the possibility to deploy to use the Ciao library, which is a new alternative approach to the classical Arduino bridge. So basically, the block diagram says how the boards interact with the Wi-Fi chipset. When Wi-Fi chipset interacts, goes by the UART channel, while the UART channel itself is interact with the converter, with the microcontroller itself, with the I2C channel. And that's how the board is made. You will find all the basic elements you usually will find on the Arduino Uno, plus in addition the ESP8266 chipset, of course, some additional LEDs showing you that the Wi-Fi is actually receiving or transmitting, and the place, of course, of the Wi-Fi antenna. You're very welcome also to purchase a new one, which is more decibel power for your purpose, for long distance transmitting or receiving as you desire. I was mentioning before the web panel. Once the board is powered up, you will find just the access point broadcasting the name Arduino-Uno-Wi-Fi-MAC address. Then you just connect to it, type in the browser URL bar arduino.local, and set up the board just you would make for your home computer, for instance. And then you are set to begin your project with the Arduino Uno Wi-Fi. Do remember also to download the Arduino Wi-Fi dev library from the library manager I usually will do for custom libraries already residing in the Arduino IDE. And that pretty much, we have to move to the next talk since we have strict schedules, but I'll be hanging around in the exhibition hall for answer all questions you have. Thank you.
Okay, can I go to what I have to do? No.
Non sono tutte unite.
Ok.
Aspetta, scusami.
Okay. Wow. Nice. Yes. Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming here today during Arduino Day. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andrea Ricchetta. I'm a product manager on Arduino, and I'm focused on products. And today I would like to introduce a little bit of the Maker family boards that came out almost around 1 year ago with the Maker 1000. That was the first Maker board with this form factor, and carried some D21 microprocessor based on Cortex-M0, 32 bits, and had connectivity with the SAM W25 Wi-Fi, and the first board with battery charger capabilities. So you can basically connect a LiPo battery, and then when powered through USB, it can be charged, the battery can be charged. And this was 1 year ago. Next 5 months ago, we presented the Maker Zero board that shares the same processor, so some D21 and Cortex-M0. And this was used, it can be used with the SD card, and so can be used, for example, for data logging, or using the digital audio converter. Can be used also for playing music files and so on, always in this small form factor. So the same with the battery charger and the LiPo battery. And so what's the next? Okay, I'm very pleased to talk about this new board, the Arduino MakerFox 1200. This is the new board. As you can see, it features a Sigfox modules on top of the board. Then you can see the micro UFL for connecting the external antenna, and a small screw terminal where you can attach an external battery, standard battery AA 1.5 volts. So in deep technical specs, it carries the same SAM D21. The board power supplies 5 volts, and it supports 2 AA or AAA 1.5 volts. The circuit operation voltage is 3.3 volts, so internal is 3.3 volt. Digital I/O pins 8, so the same as the other Maker boards. Has the digital audio converter, has 256 kilobytes of flash memory for your sketch. The working region of this board is within European, with 868 megahertz, and the dimensions are around 60 per 25 millimeters. Basic features, long battery life. This is a very crucial point because we work a lot, and now we can see that with 2 standard batteries can run for over 6 months in charge. So it's very important feature because you can use it for a lot of products, a lot of projects you can put where you cannot have a stable power supply. So it's very important. In a typical usage, we find that can run almost for 1 year. He has a compact Maker form factor, so it can be used also in small project. The antenna can be put outside, so it can be for a maximum range of the antenna. It has the Arduino IDE integration, so you can program the board by downloading the standard IDE, or you can go through Create Web Editor that my colleague Alice told about. So it's very useful. Yes, the board has an optimized library. We work a lot. We build from scratch the library that leverage on the low power abilities of the module. So we have reached 15 milliamperes during transmission and less than 1 milliamp in sleep mode. So basically, the board stays always in deep sleep mode, and when it needs, when there's a need to transmit the message, it wakes up and then go back in deep sleep mode. It's easy to use. It just works. You have only to power, program, and send your first message. It's very nice. It takes advantage of all the Arduino ecosystem, so the beautiful out-of-the-box experience. So it takes advantage of all the Arduino ecosystem. It has a standard maker pinout, so if you have already a project that uses another maker board, you can just switch, change the board, and use the same, reusing also your sketches. So it's very handy. And inside the board, you can also have 2 years of Sigfox subscription included. So it means that you have it's free to use for 2 years. And talking about the Sigfox service, it's a long-range network. It uses a narrowband protocol. And so it can be a very long distance, and has an efficient messaging system. So it's that small payload, small speed, but a long range. The typical message is 12 bytes. So a very small message, but can be a very long, spread a long distance. You can use you can send up to 140 messages per day. That means around 6 messages per hour. And within this subscription, you have a full access platform of the Sigfox network. So it means that not only the infrastructure, not only the antennas, but also the cloud platform, the backend platform, the webhook, the APIs. So for example, if you have a project that has a motion sensor, for example, you can plug the motion sensor on your board, and then when signal triggers, you can send a message. Once the messages are arrived in the cloud, you can choose, for example, if you want to send an email, or you can connect to another cloud like Amazon, like Microsoft Azure, or your own cloud or your own project. So you can decide whatever you want to do with this message. And some use cases are, for example, in agriculture. You can use for livestock management. You can use it for smart irrigation. So if you have some irrigation system in remote, you can use it and you can control it and manage monitoring, for example, the soil moisture, or you can use it also for weather stations. And in a context of cities, you can use it for dumpster monitoring, street lighting, parking slot monitoring, so you can check in real time where the parking slots are free or occupied. And in utilities, you can use it for water metering or any other metering system like electricity, gas, fuel, and anything else. In industry, you can use it for proactive maintenance, so you can connect the board to a machine and then do some proactive options. You can use it in gas distribution, so it's very useful. But there's something more, because with this board you can also receive an early access to a new geolocation features. So what does it mean? Without use of GPS, you can track your board everywhere when it's connected to the network. So it's very useful for fleet management tracking or moving things like, for example, also animals. You can track the animals' movement. So, for example, in Africa, there's a lot of projects that features this board and to control the movement of the animals. So it's very powerful, and that's it. Okay, if you have any question, yes. Ah, sorry. Okay. The distance range, well, the right answer is it depends, because as for the transmission can be in, for example, in a urban context, should be from 2 to 8 kilometers. So with the one antenna, you can reach a range of 80 kilometers. For example, in countryside, without trees, without buildings, so it's open, can arrive up to 50 kilometers. So it's very long range. Yes? Yes? Yes, yes, can be addressable by the micro.
So I can play the number X5?
Yes, of course.
I can give the command, and when I power up the board via batteries, via 1.5 volt batteries, is available on thin 5 voltage?
You can power your board through batteries or 5-pin volts, not in the same time. Okay.
When I power up the board with 2 batteries, with AA batteries,
Yes.
is available on board the 5 volt. I can power up the sensor that work at 5 volt when I power up the board with 2 batteries.
You can power up 3.3 volts modules.
Okay. Not 5 volt.
No.
Is necessary another power?
Yes. Voltage translator.
And the last, how much is this board about?
It's around 35 euros.
And the name is?
Maker Fox 1200. Thank you. Thank you all. Yes. And I would like to introduce my colleague Chiara that will talk about Arduino Primo. Thanks again.
Hello everyone, I'm Chiara and today I'm going to talk to you about the Arduino Primo. The Arduino Primo is the first Arduino board featuring an NRF52 microcontrollers that is suitable for low power application. This board has the form factor of the Arduino Uno, but it contains everything you need for entering in the IoT world with the typical simplicity of the Arduino language. The board, thanks to the NRF52, allow you to use the new Bluetooth standard, the Bluetooth low power, and the NFC capabilities. It has also 2 other microcontrollers that are the ESP8266 for the Wi-Fi and the STM32 microcontrollers that work as a GPIO expander, debugger, and programmer of the main chip. The communication capability are not over because the board also contains infrared transmitter and receiver, and it also has a battery connector to power the board with a lithium battery. These are the main features of the three microcontrollers, and as you can see, the flash memory of the main microcontroller is of 512 kilobytes, and these allow you to write whatever you want inside your sketch without to worry about its length. The programming is made by the STM chip. Programming can be done with our Arduino IDE, like in any other board. But with this board, there is a new feature to upload the code. Because when you plug your board in your computer, you will see it as an external drive. This allows you to drag and drop your compiled code there, and the STM32 microcontrollers will take care of uploading this sketch inside the main microcontrollers. But of course, this board is also suitable for IoT application. And when we talk about IoT, having the board next to you is not always easy. So we foreseen a way to upload your code over the air. The Bluetooth capabilities allow you to send a sketch to the board through the device firmware upgrade service. In this way, you can upgrade your sketch wherever you are. This is the schema of the board. As you can see, the NRF52 is the main microcontroller, and it is connected to the STM32 through a UART connection and I2C, and it's also connected to the ESP module through an SPI connection. All the three microcontrollers can be controlled via sketch. You have just to program the NRF52, and it will be the NRF52 that will send the properly command to the other microcontrollers. These are the main components on board. The pin header is the same of the Arduino Uno, but the board contains also a couple of buttons and a buzzer that can be used inside the sketch. So this board is everything you need to enter in the IoT world. But of course, when we talk about IoT, we have to mention also wearable. So this is why we thought about another board with an RF52 that has the ideal form factor for wearable. This is the Arduino Primo Core. Thanks to the NRF52, it is possible to have, even in this board, the Bluetooth functionalities and the NFC capabilities. The board has also some sensors on board, ready to use, that are temperature sensor, humidity sensor, an accelerometer, and a magnetometer. These are the main features of the board. As you can see, this board is very simple, very light, and these allow you to reach the lowest power consumption ever seen in an Arduino board. All of this just in a board of 32 by 32 millimeters. Thanks to the BLE functionalities, the board can be uploaded with over-the-air capabilities, but there is also a SVD connector on board that allows you to program your board through an external programmer. This external programmer can also be an Arduino Primo board. So you can program your board as all the other Arduino board. These are the main components, and beside the sensor, as you can see, there is a reset button, a power switch to turn on and turn off the board, and an RGB LED that can be used inside your application. More information can be found in our website, where you also will find other examples of usage of this board. Thank you. Yes? Is there a question? Yes?
How much power does the wireless reception need
Yes, if you, of course, it depends about the application you want to develop. But we can say that for the Arduino Primo, the power consumption is about around some milliampere, and it's some microampere for the Arduino Primo core. And all the modules, all the microcontrollers in the Arduino Primo can be turned off. So the ESP, if you don't need the Wi-Fi, you can turn off the ESP, and you can turn off also the STM32 chip if you want. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Francesco Alessi. I'm the main developer for the Arduino Star 8. The Arduino Star is a family of products featuring the ST microelectronics component. The Arduino Star 8 have a lot of capability. First of all, have ARM Cortex M4 microcontroller with 5-point unity inside. Have also the capability to connect a touch display and camera module, and is possible to program the board using a Wi-Fi connection. Have also the audio capability, and it's possible to use the USB as OTG. It's possible to connect a device like a pen drive or so. This is an overview of the technical data of the board. The heart of this board, as told you, is STM32469. Is an ARM Cortex M4, is a 3.3 volt board, have 2 megabytes of flash, and have 384 kilobytes. There is also an SDRAM on amount of 16 megabytes. The microcontroller ran on a frequency of 118 megahertz. The board have 17 general purpose I/O, and 14 can act also as a PWM. The board have also a lot of ADC, DAC, have a lot of channel of communication like I2C, SDIO, and so. Have device inside the microcontroller. There is a DSI device that can give the capability to connect an high performance display. There is also a DAC and audio codec and 2 stereo microphones. This is a schematic for the board. The board has 2 main blocks. One is the main microcontroller, and there is another section that is the Wi-Fi. It's possible to program the main microcontroller using the Wi-Fi connection. This is a good thing because we can't need the access to physically to the board. It's possible also to upgrade the Wi-Fi firmware using the USB connection to the device. The board has also an SD card, as told you, an audio codec that is possible to reproduce stereo audio, and 2 microphones. These 2 microphones can be connected or to the audio codec or directly to the microcontroller. have Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is based on expressive ESP8266 Wi-Fi chipset, and there is a connector to connect a display or an HDMI device. Looking at the board, we can see that the board came in mega format. There is a lot of general purpose I/O, 17. We have 14 PWM. We have also a SWD connector, can be used to program or debugging the code for the board. We have also 4 UART connection, 2 TVI connection, E2C, 2 CAN port, stereo microphone. It's possible to connect the board to an audio headset or directly to some speaker. We have also the button to put the STM32 in bootloader, can be used for rescue the board, for example, or we have also a button can be used to upgrade the firmware for the Wi-Fi section. We have an USB port, an high-speed USB port, and we have also the capability to use this port as OTG. There are two DAC. These 2 pins are different from Mega or Due because can be used to give some power to produce some voltage, analog voltage, or to read analog voltage. Can be used using analog read or analog write. And it's possible to manage all board using Wi-Fi. For example, we have a virtual COM port. Looking the board from the bottom side, we have a high-speed connector, can be used to connect the display shield, camera module, and HDMI adapter, and micro SD card slot, an audio jack, and we have 2 resistors. Can be used to use 2 additional analog input because these 2 input is shared with a codec connection. It's all. If you have any question, tell me. Yeah. Yes, of course. People ask me if it's possible to control the OTG power. Of course, it's possible to shut down the device. For example, if you have some another board, for example, you can power the board and you can decide if you power off the board. Is okay. Yes, in the ID is present an example called the simple audio recorder. It's possible to reproduce from SD some wave file, and it's possible to record a stereo audio came from microphone directly to the SD card. Thank you. Yes, this is another function. We have the 1 pin that is possible to control, like the other general purpose I/O, using digital write. It's possible to power on or power off the Wi-Fi section of the board. Welcome. Thank you. Star 8. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Valentina Chinnici, and I work at Arduino. I'm product manager, and I work closely with the Arduino education team in Malmö, Sweden. And today I'm going to present you some information about the initiatives that we've been running with the Arduino education team, especially created and tailored for hands-on and project-based activities within the classroom. So Arduino Education, the offices of the Arduino Education team are in Malmö, Sweden, and they work hard to provide a more collaborative and active approach to education. Arduino, as you probably know, is used in nearly every university around the world. So we wanted to bring this experience and this approach also in the formal education, like middle schools, secondary schools, and bringing a program for STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. So the challenges that we faced was that there were a lot of products for the classroom, but they weren't providing any indication on the collaborative learning within the classroom. It was like a one-off experience. For example, you buy a robot, you use it once, and then you leave it in the corner to take some dust, and that's it. And most of the products that were on the market weren't multidisciplinary, so we wanted to have a cross-curricular approach. So we came up with the idea of CTC 101, that is the Creative Technologies in the Classroom 101, that was developed in partnership with Intel. And is based on the Arduino 101 board that has Bluetooth LE, accelerometer, and gyroscope on board. So the CTC 101 is partly composed by a box, that is this one, that is 10 kilograms, so it's quite huge. And it offers all you need to, like all the components and parts that you need to create projects and activities for your classroom. Other than that, there is also an e-learning environment and remote support and sessions of webinars. And we have also a network of certified partners. We have one for Italy over there. Hello, Francesco. That works for Web Science, so is providing some training for teachers in Italy and San Marino. And we wanted to provide like schools with real-world applications, engaging exercises, collaborative learning, and we wanted people to have like an immediate feedback from the projects that they were using, and we wanted to create something that was inclusive for girls and boys in the classroom. So we developed this toolbox that has MDF components, 720 parts in total, 6 Arduino 101 boards, and this program has already been launched in Spain and Latin America, and also in Italy, and we have the program in Italian, English, and Spanish. So the Arduino education team provides training to teachers with online platform, news, educational materials, forums, support webinars, and then the teachers deploy the classrooms to the students. Our CTC 101 kit is enough for up to 30 students and is a modular package, so you start with one project and each one of the students working in his own team or her own team. And at the end of the 5 modules, they work on their project-based activity. So they learn by making, and they make a physical interaction with the components. They have a full hands-on approach. They work in groups, so they learn not only the technical skills, but also the social skills. And at the end of the project, they have a technology fair, so basically they improve their public speaking skills as well. So the CTC 101 is composed by a first phase that is with teacher training, then 5 themed learning activities that starts from programming to more connected and advanced applications. Then there is the student projects phase, and then at the end of it, there is the technology fair. There is online documentation. We provide classrooms with an e-learning environment, 26 projects, video tutorials, code, step-by-step instructions. Whatever you think of, it's already being included in the package, basically. And we also have webinar sessions live with the classrooms, where everyone can ask information about the status of their training. And also, at the end of it, there is a big technology fair. Let me skip a bit, where everyone showcases their own projects. It's like a maker fair, basically. And all these projects that you can see in the presentation have been made by students that didn't know anything about technology. And one of the most powerful things about this program is that almost half of the population of students were girls, because we wanted to make it more affordable and inclusive for all the population in the classroom. So let me show you one project out of the CTC 101. This is a rover robot that is controlled by a Bluetooth application. So, okay. So basically you give instructions to your app on your phone, and then the robot moves. So kids learn how to program the device, how to assemble it, and then they can capitalize on what they learned, and they can apply it for other applications. Basically, the creativity is the only limit. So the CTC 101 has already been implemented in 646 schools with 19,000 students for a total of 1,300 projects, 11 fairs across the globe. And the most astonishing results is that 90% of students want to learn more about technologies, and 95% of teachers want to reteach the lessons, and 99% of teachers are satisfied with the CTC toolbox. So if you're interested in the CTC 101 kit and you want to purchase one, you can go to our website, arduino.cc/edu, or you can buy it online from our distributor RS Components, or you can look for Web Science if you're in Italy. And that's it. Thank you very much. I don't know if you have any questions on the CTC. It's online. It's arduino.cc/edu, and there you can find some information. But I can speak to you, and I can give you my business card, and I can share with you more detailed information. Are there any other questions? It's 1,750 euros, and it's available online on RS Components. So there is the kit with 720 parts, inclusive of boards, shields, breadboards, everything. And then you have access to the e-learning platform with all the learning materials and all the webinars and forums. And so there is also an online part. Well, CTC 101 is enough for 30 students plus a teacher. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much.
Porto loro e facciamo il saluto e... Ready for love. Vieni qua. Ora metti dietro di fianco. Adesso facciamo tutto. Guarda che sto cercando di...
Siamo live.
Siamo live.
We live.
Live from Torino. questo lo rimettiamo qua nel buco. Ok.
Ready to go?
Ready to go, I would say, yes. Good afternoon. Welcome to the last talk of the day with Massimo Banzi and
Federico
Musto.
Sorry.
And so, okay, so we're going to be alternating a little bit. Hopefully we did the preparation.
I'll do my best, yeah.
Okay. Professor Violante did the training. If we don't do a good job,
We are done. So.
his fault. Okay, so welcome to Arduino Day 2017. This is the 4th edition of Arduino Day. 499 events in 79 countries. Arduino Day celebrates, actually it's obviously the birthday of Arduino. The name Arduino was invented around March 17, 2005, in a room in Ivrea overlooking the Piedmontese Alps, just to give you some color. And so around end of March, we tend to celebrate this with an event. You can see we went from 266 events 2 years ago to over 499, and next year we hope to go beyond 500 because otherwise. So just some numbers. I'll just give you like the community part. So we reached 23.4 million downloads of the IDE since March 2015. So in 2 years, 23.4 million. This means one download every 2.6 seconds, which is pretty impressive for a product like this. And it means there are millions of people that every time we release a new version of the IDE, download it from the website. And also you can see the growth of the users on the website. So we are already seeing that this year we will have over 38 million visitors, unique visitors to the Arduino website. So there's a growth of 32% in the last 2 years. So this means that the community keeps growing. And so we're very proud of that. Some quick updates on what we are up to. I'll let Federico just give an overview of where we are also as a company.
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for the 499 companies, users, and makers that allow us to make this great event. So thank you so much. In this slide, I would like just to explain a little bit what is the Arduino and the Arduino as a company. Basically, we create from BSMI, that was the company behind Arduino.cc, and the BTCC that was the company behind, that is the company, the two companies that still exist behind the Arduino.org. We merged to create one new Arduino company, that is Arduino Gay. We also have the company in US. And this company owns the trademarks, the domains, they own Arduino trademarks, Genuino, Tinkerkit. So this is just one company that owns the trademarks and the domains, and is also the company that basically is the master distributor about all the Arduino products. So thanks to the Arduino, we'll be one logistic company around the world. We have several offices in Europe, in Asia, and United States. We are going to share the same roadmap, so Arduino will have one roadmap, and in some way we have a two R&D team that will be focused in several new products that I think, can I press the button? Yes. Just the next one. So we'll be focused, as usual, in the open source, open protocol, open knowledge, and we believe that that's the right way to go forward. This is the way to build the community, and probably one of the reasons why we saw this number increase, like community download, is because we're focused on the same value since 10 years, and we believe that's the right way to grow. I think we have another slide, I don't know. Yeah, on this slide, we're trying to summarize. I mean, what was Arduino yesterday, what is today, and what eventually will be tomorrow. So you can recognize we was focused on maker prototyping. We call it EVB, evaluation board, but that's the classical Arduino board. Uno form factor or mega form factor. we was focused on educational kit. So we are trying to build products that users at any kind of level can use to learn how to use this technology in several ways. One of the secret, probably secret source of Arduino that we always combined technology and art all together, and that was one of the value, if I remember correctly, that interaction design bring at the very beginning of the stage of Arduino. On the left on the side, you probably can recognize something that we are now pushing, we are working together. Well, one side is the IoT. Massimo will introduce in a couple of seconds the new product that will be based on some technology very specific on IoT. On the left side, the professional world. For professional, we're talking about some specific product that will help the makers to move from prototype to products. So to move from prototype into mass production. I think I can go to the next one. It's up to you.
Yeah, this is mine. So yeah, the idea, so I still cannot believe that it's been 12 years since we started. We started working on Arduino long before the 12 years, but it's 12 years that the project has a name and has its own structure. So the original objective was to make microcontroller easier to use for everybody. And basically, you know, we try to stay true to that message, to try to keep technology simple, to make more complex technology simpler for more people. And I think this is, in a way, it's important. We've seen that every time we made something complex, simple to use, people have been able to innovate, to create using those technologies. So we want to make more technologies accessible to people. We're clearly now heavily working on IoT by creating new boards, embracing different connectivity technologies and cloud services. Again, this is the new frontier of complexity that we need to make simple for people is IoT. It's no longer just a piece of hardware, but it's hardware, connectivity, power management, cloud platform. So the complexity is obviously much, much bigger. We continue focusing on STEM education and STEAM education. So this kind of variation of STEM that includes arts. Obviously our background is interaction design. So clearly we never kind of forget that not everything is engineering, but it's the combination of multiple, you know, passions, multiple directions that kind of gave the soul of Arduino. And also, again, you know, we are always committed to open source. We work with the community. It is part of the DNA that can never be removed from Arduino. And so, you know, we want to work more with the community on a lot of things. And actually, I wanted to touch on a couple of things that regard the IDE. So now we are at IDE version 1.8.2, but you know we actually are we will be releasing a new version soon. But if you think about it, the IDE now has 4,000 different libraries that are mainly contributed from the community. So I think that right now, if somebody wants to build a project, they can go into the IDE, type the name of whatever electronic part they're using, and there will be a piece of code provided by the community that makes it possible for them to build something they have in mind. And this is like a powerful value that we bring. Also, it runs on dozens of architectures. So in a way, Arduino is now, you know, the lingua franca of electronics. You can write some code on one platform and move it to another platform with very little effort. And, you know, and again, we are trying to make the IDE more open to external contributions. So people can now use our IDE and plug in code they wrote for another platform that we don't support directly. They can do that. They can add libraries. So there's a lot of work that can be done by collaborating with the community. And specifically, I want to touch on two nerdy things, just to, you know, stay a little bit technical. On the software side, we launched a couple of projects that we are going to open source in the next few weeks. One of them, we call it Chainsaw, because the idea was that we cut with the chainsaw into the Arduino code, separating which is the kind of generic code that runs on any platform, and the specific code that runs just on a specific type of hardware. So when we will complete this project, and are we completing the, okay, so I'm just asking the developers to nod that everything is happening. No, but the idea is this will make it a lot easier for us to be able, for anybody, to port Arduino on new hardware, because there's going to be a lot of common code, and the amount of code you need to write to port Arduino on a new platform will be reduced. And we're also working with different partners to create top-level APIs for Arduino in different areas like Bluetooth Low Energy. So for example, if you use the Arduino Bluetooth Low Energy library right now, you can actually move your code from between different platforms. And again, we really want to make it easy for people to take their code to a different platform very easily, very quickly. And we also want to help standardize things like low power. You know, with these wireless devices that we're working on right now, low power is very important. Before it was kind of random. And now we have more and more libraries where you can say, well, you know, I want to, you know, reduce the consumption. I want to pause the processor. I want to do a number of other activities on the power management. We're going to make that available. So I'm not going to go into detail, but there's a lot of this stuff that's happening right now. And also today we released the new version of the SUMD21 core for the Maker 1000 that includes also the ability to upload code over the Wi-Fi and a bunch of other user experience improvements. So, you know, there's a lot of innovation that's happening still in the code with the help of the community. And I will leave Federico to talk more about products.
Yeah, we can definitely talk together about that. I mean, the strategies is really to build some easy platform that we can reuse using the new software structure level that will allow us to port the Arduino technology from one platform to another one. Definitely better power management, specifically for the power transmission, and we will see in the new product that we'll announce that will be really a key point. We are working to support the long-range connectivity, sub-giga, you know, new technology like MB versus LoRa, Firefox. And the main goal is really to be able to have and to support all the major key low-power transmission protocol that are available on the market. The majority of them, because, you know, and one of the key points will be really to support as open source and, of course, as open hardware as much as we can. For some of them will be complex. You know, we are trying to push on only an open source, open market, open source, open hardware. Sometime open market from production, sometimes make some mistake on that. It's not always so easy. You know, we are talking with company that was on the closed hardware forever, and to convince this big corporate to allow us to work as an open source, sometimes take a little more time. I think next is yours. You want to talk about the Sigfox?
We're alternating a little bit. So one of the formats that we've been spending a lot of energy recently is this Maker format. Right now we have this board called Maker 1000, which is essentially a compact board that's battery power, can recharge LiPo batteries. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got an encryption chip on it that increases the security. This is arguably the most secure open source hardware Wi-Fi device right now because of also this extra encryption chip that we have on the hardware. But also it's an open format, so we want anybody to start using this format because we are pushing it as a new format alongside the classic Arduino format. We have this one, and so we started creating a number of shields that you can place underneath or on top of the board to extend the functionality. We have a number of carrier boards, so you can put this on a carrier board with relays or other interfaces. And then we have also these shorter wireless shields because the idea is to be able to add protocols to an existing Maker board. So for example, you could put like a sub-giga transmitter, put it on top of this one, and create a small Wi-Fi to sub-giga bridge, for example. But again, the focus here is portable, battery-powered, secure, and also you know, easy to use. There's a lot of very cheap Wi-Fi product right now in the market, but they are honestly a little bit of a nightmare to use. And the idea for us is always remove friction, make it easy, just plug the cable and just, you know, it works. So the newest member of the family that we launched today, and Andrea before me gave a full explanation of this thing, will be available in the online store on April 10th, is the MakerFox 1200, and essentially this is a follow-up to the Maker 1000 that uses the Sigfox protocol, which is a global connectivity network for this low-power nodes that consider that, for example, this device could run technically for 6 months using just two AA batteries, and with even more crafting the power management, you could even squeeze a little more life out of these batteries. So this is really for something that you just power with a battery, place somewhere, and you just forget it for a long time. And it's a very important step for us, and we're happy to be collaborating with Sigfox on this. But this is not over. There's a number of other products that I'm going to let Federico explain.
So in the next few slides, I would like to introduce a couple of products that we are going to announce on the Arduino Developer Program. So the first one is an Arduino NFC Shield. We built in collaboration with ST, and will be available in the next few days. The next one, I'm trying to be fast, is the Arduino LoRa Gateway Shield. So we build a shield that you will be able to basically to plug in top of product like Yun or Tien, or also other open source product because we have an USB. So that will provide a full LoRa connectivity from the gateway side. The next one is the node. Probably you know that is two technology on LoRa, the node and the gateway, or client and server. You can recognize that we also put some little jack that you see, the I2C analog and GPIO, and because the idea is to reuse technology like Tinkerkit that Massimo built many years ago, that are basically small sensors that allow you to connect those sensors to the node, and then from the node to transmit to the gateway. We are going to bundle all of those products. Thanks to Semtech, we will have some product available to the developer community that we are going to give you more details on how the developer program, Arduino developer program, will work probably in around a couple of weeks. I would say the end of the month. That is something that will be available for the developer. Why we do that? We do that, number one, to say thanks to the developer, to the people that work every day on Arduino, and also to receive a feedback from the community, basically asking them to help us to fix bug fix, to fix hardware issues and software and stuff like that. This is, well, this is our way to teach Italian. I mean, we build this Arduino Casetta kit. Arduino Casetta kit is basically, is built, is a small starter kit built on the Uno Wi-Fi. I think someone make a presentation on the Uno Wi-Fi, if I remember correctly. But the reason why I put this slide here, because you will see from Arduino in the next, I will say really few weeks, few months, a lot of software on the mobile. So it will be Apple, will be Android. And of course, that will be always open source. So we are trying to basically to spend a lot of developer effort to build the application that everybody can use and can learn from this application to have other, let's say, inspiration for other applications that will work in the mobile. We are going to cover for now Apple and Android. On the educational world, we start also to build a new concept that we call the libretto, that basically is a very small starter kit with probably 3, 4, 5 exercises and demo that will allow you to learn very quickly how you can use products like the Primo, the Uno Wi-Fi, and the goal is always to reduce the complexity and just to leave the easy way to learn this technology. We built this technology on this product family specifically for the educational market, for the school. So you will see, we now will build this especially for the German market. We have some new project that will start in US. It's a very easy kit that we build mainly for the school to try to help them, to teach a technology using the Arduino way. This is you, I think.
So we obviously recognize that hardware is no longer the only thing that can actually move this. Move the goalposts, forward. So one of the things that we've been working on for the last few years that we're very proud of is this Create online. It started off as an online IDE, and now it's really becoming like a hub that brings together different parts of the Arduino experience online. Actually, if you follow the streaming, Alice gave like a more detailed presentation of Create, but the idea is you have a place where you can edit your Arduino code, you can share tutorials with other people. We added an e-learning platform to it, we also added a cloud IoT platform to it, very basic, but it's expanding. So the idea is, this is a new experience where you log in, and from a browser, you can now use everything that was in the IDE plus a bunch of other tools right there in the browser from anywhere. Your sketches, your code is there. You can share it easily. So it's an evolution of the classic experience on the IDE. And one of the things that we've been working on that Valentina mentioned before is that we actually developed a Chrome application that allows people to use Chromebooks with Create, because one of the issues is that right now, for example, in the US, more than 50% of the education market is on Chromebooks. And Chromebooks, they don't have access to the USB port. You cannot install the Arduino IDE on Chromebooks. So with this small application, you can use Create on a Chromebook. You can plug your Arduino to the USB port on your Chromebook, and you can code. So this is going to be very useful for the education market, and it kind of completes, in a way, a certain arc of modules and features that we developed to really bring the experience online to everybody. And then also, one of the aspects that, again, we really care about the education aspect. So Valentina just a few minutes ago explained the CTC program, and I'm going to just summarize in a second that this program is essentially a way to teach electronics, programming, robotics, and essentially also to teach the way, the Arduino way to building things in a box. This box contains all the things you need to teach to a class of almost up to 30 people. And it also comes with a fairly important part of teacher training. We realized that in a lot of countries, schools don't really invest money in training teachers, so we wanted to embed the teacher training into this product so that we can train the teachers through partners around the world. It is currently available in Spanish, Italian, and English. It's been, it's been already deployed to almost 20,000 students around the world. So I think it's a very important piece of what we are doing right now. And, this is just to give you a small picture of what we are working on, just to make sure that, we're working together to increase what the community gets from Arduino in terms of technologies, in terms of software, in terms of tools. But, again, we are here to work with the community. We are open source at the core, and, we will never change that aspect, and we are working always with the community and adding to the community. And so I hope the people who are in these 499 events, it's interesting because some events are already over because it's night in China, and some events are probably starting right now, in California. So it's a strange situation, but we are kind of in the middle. So, we're happy that 499 groups of people decide to get together and celebrate Arduino. It is still crazy to think about it. I have a couple of the founders of Arduino on Skype, and the idea was to say hi to everybody to conclude this part. I hope they haven't written any controversial messages while I was... No, okay. Good. Let's see if it works. Magic. It's kind of... Whoa! And hello, live from New York is Tom Igo. David Quartielles, where are you? Quartielles, you're always the one who's late, just mentioning. Where is Quartielles? Okay. Oh, Quartier is coming. Yay! So full screen. Hello. Say hi to Torino. And actually say hi to the rest of the world because you're also on streaming. Hey, Bobby. Ciao, Bobby. Sorry, family. Tom, I think you need to show the cat now. All right. So Noodles is part of the history of Arduino, the cat. But, so, you know, say hi. It's pretty good, lots of people. It's already night in Scandinavia. Okay. Wow. So Tom, are you going to the Arduino Day somewhere in New York? No. Okay, so you're excused for this year, but next year. Okay. Okay, next year in Torino, both of you. Okay, so this is just a joke to say hi to everybody, to the community. This is streamed back online. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
And
yeah, just
thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. No, this one. Oh, the camera. We just want probably to say that we have the next stop in San Jose. So
yes,
Malmo was the first, Torino, and then San Jose in
so it's kicking off more
few hours, right? So
yeah.
thanks again.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.